The conference hall smelled like expensive cologne and lies. Maya Chen stood at the back, her vintage band tee clashing with the sea of blazers. Combat boots against marble. She was not supposed to be here. On stage, under blinding white lights, Zhang stood in a black turtleneck and tailored pants, his dark hair falling perfectly across his forehead. 26 years old. Billionaire. Tech genius. And according to her research, a fraud. At Neuralink, we believe in transparency, he was saying, his voice smooth as silk. Maya's jaw clenched. Her best friend Jenna had believed that too. Before their algorithm ruined her credit score. Before she lost her apartment. Before she tried to end it all. Her hand shook as she raised her phone, hitting record. Liar. The word cut through the applause like a knife. 200 heads turned. Security guards moved toward the aisles. But Kai's eyes found hers across the distance, sharp and dark and suddenly very awake. Your AI destroyed my best friend's life, Maya called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Your transparency is a marketing campaign. Your customer service is a graveyard. How do you sleep at night? The silence was deafening. Kai stepped away from the podium, moving to the edge of the stage. The spotlights caught the angles of his face, that sharp jawline everyone thirsted over on social media. Up close, he was devastatingly beautiful. And she hated him for it. What's your name? He asked, his voice low, dangerous. Maya Chen. And I have 6 months of unanswered emails to prove you don't care about the lives you ruin. Something flickered in his expression. Recognition? Guilt? His eyes scanned her face like he was memorizing every detail. The freckles across her nose. The defiance in her brown eyes. The silver rings stacked on her fingers. Everyone out, he said suddenly. Sir, we should call security, someone whispered. I said out. His tone left no room for argument. The room cleared in minutes. Maya stood her ground, even as her pulse hammered in her ears. The doors closed with a heavy thud. They were alone. Kai walked down the stage steps, hands in his pockets, moving with the kind of confidence that came from never hearing the word no. He stopped 3 feet away. She could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes now. The faint scar above his left eyebrow. You have 60 seconds to convince me not to have you arrested, he said. Jenna Park. Case number JX7729. Your algorithm flagged her as high risk because she changed jobs 3 times in 2 years. Except she was escaping an abusive relationship. Your system couldn't tell the difference between instability and survival. It tanked her credit. She lost everything. And when I emailed your company 53 times? Not one response. His expression shifted. The corporate mask cracking. Show me. She pulled up her phone, hands steady now. Forwarded him everything. The emails. The screenshots. Jenna's hospital records from her attempt. He read in silence, his jaw tightening with each swipe. When he looked up, something raw flickered in his eyes. Where is she now? Alive. Barely. No thanks to you. He turned away, running a hand through his hair. This shouldn't have happened. The override protocols should have caught this. But they didn't. No. He faced her again, and for a moment, he looked almost human. Almost vulnerable. They didn't. And I'm sorry. Maya blinked. You're apologizing? I'm fixing it. The account will be restored. I'll personally handle the credit bureaus. And I want to meet her. To apologize face to face. Why? She searched his face. Why do you care? His eyes held hers. Because you made me see it. And I don't get called out often. Especially not by someone who looks like they'd rather set my building on fire than shake my hand. Despite everything, her lips twitched. Don't tempt me. Coffee. Tomorrow. Bring your friend. He pulled out his phone. Give me your number. Absolutely not. Then how do I reach you? She grabbed his phone, typed in her email. Old school. Deal with it. He glanced at the screen, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. You're different. I'm angry. I noticed. He stepped closer. Too close. She could smell his cologne now. Cedar and something darker. Most people are scared of me. You're not. Should I be? His eyes flickered to her lips, then back up. Probably. The air between them crackled with something dangerous. Something she absolutely could not afford to feel. She stepped back. Fix Jenna's life. Then we'll talk. She turned and walked toward the exit, every nerve in her body aware that he was watching her leave. At the door, she looked back. He was still standing there, backlit by the stage lights, looking at her like she was a puzzle he desperately needed to solve. Maya, he called out. She paused. Thank you. For caring enough to storm in here. She didn't respond. Just pushed through the doors and disappeared into the hallway, her heart pounding for reasons that had nothing to do with fear. Behind her, Zhang stood alone in the empty conference hall, Maya Chen's email pulled up on his screen. He typed one word. Tomorrow. Then he made a call. Cancel everything. I need you to pull case file JX7729. And find out everything you can about Maya Chen. Everything. He ended the call, staring at the doors she'd walked through. For the first time in years, Kai felt something he thought he'd lost. Curiosity. And something far more dangerous than that. The coffee shop was aggressively hipster. Exposed brick. String lights. A chalkboard menu that required a philosophy degree to decode. Maya sat by the window in ripped black jeans and an oversized flannel, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun. No makeup. She refused to try for him. Jenna sat across from her, fidgeting with her hoodie strings. Dark circles under her eyes. 3 months out of the hospital and still fragile. You sure about this? Jenna whispered. No. But he said he fixed everything. The door chimed. Kai walked in wearing a white button-down and dark jeans, looking like he'd stepped out of a magazine. Every head turned. He didn't notice. His eyes were locked on their table. He slid into the seat next to Maya, and she caught that cedar scent again. Focus, Chen. Jenna, he said softly, extending his hand. I'm Kai. I owe you an apology that words can't cover. Jenna stared at him. Then at his hand. She didn't take it. You don't get to make yourself feel better, she said, voice shaking. You don't get to apologize and walk away clean. Kai lowered his hand. You're right. I tried to die because of your company. I know. Do you? Tears welled in her eyes. Do you actually know what it's like to lose everything? To feel so worthless that ending it seems easier than facing another day? Maya grabbed Jenna's hand. Kai went very still, something dark and painful crossing his face. Yes, he said quietly. I do. The raw honesty in his voice stopped them both. He wasn't performing. Wasn't playing billionaire philanthropist. He looked wrecked. When I was 19, my brother killed himself. He'd gotten into debt. Made mistakes. The shame ate him alive. Kai's jaw worked. I built Neuralink because I thought I could create a system that saw people as more than numbers. That understood context. And instead I built something that hurt someone the exact same way. So no, I can't make this right. But I can try. He pulled out a tablet, slid it across to Jenna. Your credit is fully restored. Every negative mark erased. I've set up a fund in your name with $250,000. Not as payment. As a start. And I want to hire you. Jenna's eyes went wide. What? Neuralink needs someone who understands what it's like to be on the other side of the algorithm. I want you to head a new department. Human oversight. Real people reviewing edge cases. You'd be making sure what happened to you never happens to anyone else. This is insane, Jenna breathed. It's necessary. He looked at Maya then, and she felt the intensity of his focus like a physical thing. Your friend didn't just call me out. She reminded me why I started this company. I need more people like that around me. So you're hiring Jenna to ease your conscience, Maya said flatly. I'm hiring Jenna because she's qualified and because I need her perspective. The money is non-negotiable whether she takes the job or not. He turned back to Jenna. Think about it. Take your time. But I meant what I said. I want to do better. Jenna looked at Maya, eyes wet. Can we talk? Alone? Maya nodded. She and Kai stepped outside into the cooling afternoon air. The street was busy with people. Normal people living normal lives. She leaned against the brick wall, arms crossed. That was a hell of a pitch, she said. It wasn't a pitch. It's the truth. Your brother, she said carefully. I'm sorry. His expression shuddered. It was a long time ago. Trauma doesn't have an expiration date. He looked at her then, really looked at her, like she'd said something that mattered. No. It doesn't. They stood in silence. A car passed, bass thumping. Someone laughed across the street. The world kept spinning while they existed in this strange bubble of almost understanding. Why'd you really come today? Maya asked. You could have sent an assistant. Wired the money. Never had to face us. Because you were right. I've been hiding behind my success. Surrounding myself with people who tell me I'm brilliant. You didn't do that. You saw me clearly. And I needed that. I don't like you, she said, but there was less bite to it now. His lips curved. I noticed. It's refreshing. Don't smile at me like that. Like what? Like you think I'm going to fall for whatever this is. She waved a hand between them. Rich guy plays humble, wins over the angry activist. I've seen this movie. It ends badly. What if I told you I don't know how this ends? He stepped closer, voice dropping. What if I told you I can't stop thinking about the way you looked at me in that conference hall? Like you could see straight through all my bullshit. No one does that. Her breath caught. Kai. I want to see you again. Not for Jenna. Not for Neuralink. For this. Whatever this is. This is a terrible idea. Probably. His eyes held hers. Have dinner with me. Let me show you I'm not just the villain in your story. And if you are, then you get to say you told me so. And I'll leave you alone. He pulled out his phone. But I don't think I am. And I don't think you think that either. Not anymore. Before she could respond, Jenna pushed through the door, eyes red but clear. I need time. But tell him I'll consider it. And Maya? She looked between them, a knowing smile tugging at her lips. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. She walked away, leaving them alone on the sidewalk. Maya wanted to follow her. Run away from whatever this was. But Kai was looking at her like she was the most fascinating thing he'd ever seen, and her traitorous heart was pounding. One dinner, she heard herself say. But I'm picking the place. And you're not allowed to be charming. I can't make promises I won't keep. Try. He grinned then, full and genuine, and it transformed his entire face. Made him look younger. Human. Dangerous in an entirely different way. Tomorrow night. 7. Text me the address. He turned to leave, then paused. Maya? Yeah. Thank you. For giving me a chance to be better. He walked away, hands in his pockets, and she watched him go. Watched the way people moved out of his path. The way he commanded space without trying. She was so screwed. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Already breaking your rules. This is Kai. I got your number from the conference registry. Don't be mad. Be impressed by my resourcefulness. Despite everything, she smiled. Stalker behavior isn't cute. Noted. See you tomorrow. Wear whatever makes you feel most like yourself. I want the real you. She stared at the message for a long moment. Then typed back. Bold of you to assume you can handle the real me. His response came instantly. Try me. Maya pocketed her phone, heart racing. She had one dinner to figure out if Kai Zhang was genuine or just another rich guy playing games. She had a feeling it was going to change everything. Behind his tinted car window, Kai watched her walk away, a smile playing on his lips. His assistant's voice crackled through the Bluetooth. Sir, the background check on Maya Chen is complete. Should I send it over? Kai's finger hovered over the button. Then he pressed delete. No. I want to learn about her the right way. And the other matter? His smile faded. Keep it buried. Whatever it takes. She can't know. Not yet. He ended the call, watching Maya's figure disappear into the crowd. He'd lied to her. Not about his brother. Not about wanting to be better. But about why he really needed her close. And if she ever found out, it would destroy them both. The restaurant was not what Kai expected. Hole-in-the-wall Vietnamese place, plastic chairs, fluorescent lights, the smell of pho and lemongrass heavy in the air. Maya sat in the corner booth wearing a leather jacket and a band shirt, her hair down around her shoulders. She looked perfect. This is your idea of a date? He asked, sliding in across from her. This is my idea of reality. Welcome to how the other 99% lives. She pushed a menu toward him. The brisket pho is life-changing. Don't order anything else. He smiled. Bossy. You have no idea. They ordered. The silence should have been awkward, but it wasn't. She studied him over the rim of her water glass, eyes sharp and assessing. He let her look. He had nothing to hide. Except for everything. Tell me about your brother, she said finally. His chest tightened. That's your opening question? You brought him up. I want to understand. He leaned back, fingers drumming on the table. No one asked about Danny anymore. Everyone knew the story, knew to avoid it. But Maya was looking at him with something that felt dangerously close to genuine care. His name was Daniel. Danny. He was 2 years older. Brilliant. Chaotic. The kind of person who felt everything too much. Kai's voice went quiet. He got into day trading. Made some bad calls. Lost money that wasn't his. The debt collectors came after him. The shame ate him alive. And one night, he didn't come home. Maya's hand moved across the table, fingers brushing his. I'm sorry. I was 17. Found him. The words were ash in his mouth. I built Neuralink because I thought if we could predict financial patterns, understand context better, maybe no one else would have to feel that desperate. But somewhere along the way, it became about the algorithm. About the success. I lost sight of the people. Until I barged in and yelled at you. Until you reminded me. His fingers turned, catching hers. You're like him, you know. You feel everything fiercely. You care loudly. It's terrifying and beautiful. Her eyes glistened. Don't. Don't what? Make me like you. I came here to prove you're just another tech bro with a god complex. And? You're making it really hard to hate you. Their food arrived, steaming bowls of pho that smelled like heaven. They ate in comfortable silence, her showing him how to add the herbs, the way she liked it. It felt intimate. Real. Like they'd done this 100 times before. Your turn, Kai said. Tell me something real. Maya set down her spoon. My parents wanted me to be a doctor. Or a lawyer. Something prestigious. Safe. But I dropped out of pre-med to work at a non-profit. They haven't spoken to me in 2 years. They cut you off for following your passion. They cut me off for embarrassing them. For choosing people over prestige. She smiled, but it was sad. So yeah. I get what it's like to lose people. Just in a different way. That's why you fight so hard. For Jenna. For others. Someone has to care about the people the system forgets. He reached across the table, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. She froze at the touch. You're incredible. You know that? You're laying it on thick, Zhang. I mean it. His thumb traced her cheekbone. I've dated models, actresses, tech founders. None of them looked at me the way you do. Like I'm a person. Not a brand. Maybe you should date better people. Maybe I just found one. The air between them crackled. She leaned in. He met her halfway. Their lips were inches apart when her phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Insistent. She pulled back, checking the screen. Her face went pale. Maya? She stood abruptly, hands shaking. I have to go. What happened? Jenna. Her voice cracked. She's in the hospital. She tried again. The world tilted. Kai threw cash on the table, following her out. My car's here. I'll drive you. They didn't speak during the ride. Maya's hands were fists in her lap, tears streaming down her face. Kai drove like he was possessed, weaving through traffic. His hand found hers, squeezed once. She squeezed back. The hospital was sterile and cold. They ran through the corridors, found Jenna's mom in the waiting room. She looked ancient, hollowed out. How is she? Maya gasped. Stable. They pumped her stomach. She left a note. Jenna's mom handed Maya a folded paper with shaking hands. She said she was sorry. That the money felt like blood money. That she couldn't stop seeing her life as that case number. I don't understand. Maya read the note, tears falling onto the paper. Then she turned to Kai, and her expression was pure devastation. Get out. Maya, let me help. You've done enough. This is your fault. All of it. That's not fair. Fair? Her voice rose. You gave her money to make yourself feel better. You offered her a job so you could play savior. But you can't buy away trauma. You can't pay someone to forget that your company labeled them worthless. You made her feel like a charity case, and it broke her all over again. I was trying to make it right. You were trying to make yourself feel less guilty. She shoved his chest. You don't get it. People aren't code you can debug. We're messy and broken and we can't be fixed with a wire transfer and a corporate apology. He grabbed her wrists gently. Then tell me how. Tell me how to help. Leave. Stay away from me. Stay away from her. Let us heal without you. She pulled free, backing away. This was a mistake. All of it. Maya, please. I said leave. A nurse appeared. Family only. Kai looked at Maya one last time. She turned away, walking through the doors. He stood there, feeling like the floor had opened beneath him. Around him, the hospital hummed with life and death and everything in between. His phone buzzed. His assistant. Sir, there's a problem. Someone's been digging into Neuralink's source code. They found the override logs from the Jenna Park case. They're threatening to go public. Kai's blood ran cold. Who? We don't know yet. But sir, if they dig deeper, they'll find the original flagging wasn't a glitch. It was intentional. Part of the trial run. Kai closed his eyes. The lie he'd been running from. The truth that would destroy everything. Bury it. Whatever it costs. Call legal. Call everyone. There's more. They're asking specifically about Maya Chen's involvement. Like they know you've been seeing her. His heart stopped. What? Someone's connecting dots. If this goes public, it'll look like you targeted her friend to get close to her. Like this whole thing was calculated. Kai's mind raced. The dinner. The apology. The money. All of it would look like manipulation. Like he'd orchestrated Jenna's pain to win Maya over. And the worst part? Some of it was true. He'd known about the case before Maya stormed in. Had been planning to quietly fix it. But when she'd confronted him, he'd seen an opportunity. Not to be cruel. But to be close to the first person who'd seen through him in years. He'd chosen her. And in doing so, he'd made everything worse. Sir? I'll handle it. He ended the call. Through the hospital window, he could see Maya in Jenna's room, holding her friend's hand, crying. She looked small. Broken. Beautiful in her pain. He'd promised to be better. Instead, he'd become exactly what she feared. A man who used people. Who saw them as puzzles to solve. Who cared more about winning than about the cost. Zhang walked out of that hospital knowing 3 things. 1. He was in love with Maya Chen. 2. She would never forgive him for what he'd done. 3. The truth was about to come out. And it would destroy them both. Inside Jenna's room, Maya's phone buzzed. An email from an unknown address. Subject: the truth about Zhang. She didn't open it. Not yet. She couldn't handle one more thing breaking. But in 12 hours, she would. And nothing would ever be the same. Maya opened the email at 3 in the morning, sitting on the floor of her apartment in sweats and one of Jenna's old hoodies. Eyes red from crying. Heart already broken. The subject line stared at her, the truth about Zhang. She clicked. What loaded made her blood turn to ice. Internal Neuralink documents. Emails. Code snippets. All time-stamped before she'd ever stormed into that conference hall. Before she'd met Kai. Before any of it. The algorithm that flagged Jenna? Not a glitch. A beta test. A trial run for a new predictive model designed to identify and categorize high-risk users. Jenna had been case number 12 in a series of 63. The system had flagged her intentionally. They'd known it was wrong. And they'd done it anyway. To test the parameters. To see how far they could push before someone pushed back. And when Maya had pushed back, Kai had seen an opportunity. There were emails from Kai to his team. The Chen girl could be useful. Public sentiment is turning. We need a redemption story. Make the Park case the priority. I'll handle the personal angle. Another one, sent the day after their first coffee. She's smart. passionate. Exactly the kind of optics we need. Keep monitoring her social media. I need to know what she cares about. And the final one, sent the night of their almost kiss at the restaurant. The relationship is progressing faster than expected. Legal wants to know if we should brief her before the story breaks. I said no. We need her authentic reaction for maximum impact. Maya's hands shook so hard she dropped her phone. The screen cracked against the hardwood floor. She didn't pick it up. He'd used her. Used Jenna. All of it had been calculated. The apology. The vulnerability. The story about his brother, was that even real? Or just another play to make her trust him? She thought about his hand on her face. His thumb on her cheekbone. The way he'd looked at her like she mattered. It had all been a lie. Her phone buzzed. Despite the crack, the screen still worked. Kai's name lit up the display. She answered, voice dead. You need to not call me right now. Maya, listen to me. His voice was desperate. Whatever you saw, whoever sent it, there's context. Context. She laughed, hollow. Is there context for using your friend's suicide attempt as a trial run? Is there context for manipulating me into trusting you so you could use me for PR? Silence on the other end. Then, quietly, it started that way. But it's not what you think. Then tell me what to think, Kai. Because right now I think you're exactly what I accused you of being. A sociopath in expensive clothes who sees people as data points. I never meant for Jenna to get hurt. The trial was supposed to be theoretical. Sandboxed. Someone implemented it without authorization. By the time I found out, the damage was done. So you covered it up. I was going to fix it. Quietly. But then you stormed in and I saw a chance to actually do something right. To use the situation to change the company's direction. To use me, you mean? At first. His voice cracked. Yes. At first it was strategic. But Maya, everything after that first day was real. The way I feel about you is real. Stop. I'm in love with you. The words hit like a physical blow. She closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. Don't you dare. Don't you dare say that to me after what you've done. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know the truth. Not the version in those emails. The actual truth. I don't think you know what truth means. Then let me show you. Desperation bled through every word. Let me prove that what we have is real. That I'm not the villain you think I am. You hurt my best friend. You manipulated me. You built your redemption story on our pain. Her voice went cold. You are exactly the villain I think you are. You're just better at hiding it than most. Maya, please. I'm going to the press. With everything. Your trial run. The cover-up. All of it. And you can't stop me. I won't try to. His voice went quiet. If exposing me is what you need, do it. Burn it all down. I deserve it. She waited for the threat. The lawyers. The intimidation tactics. But there was nothing. Just silence and the sound of his breathing. Why? She whispered. Why did you have to make me feel something real? Why couldn't you just be the monster I needed you to be? Because you made me want to be better. And I thought maybe, if I tried hard enough, I could be the person you saw in me at that restaurant. The one worthy of the way you looked at me. Her chest ached. You broke me. I know. And I'll never forgive myself for that. A pause. There's one more thing you should know. About the trial run. About why Jenna was flagged. I don't want to hear it. She wasn't random, Maya. Someone specifically requested her profile be included in the test. Someone who knew she was your best friend. Who knew you'd fight back. Who wanted to see what I'd do. Her blood went cold. What are you saying? I'm saying we were both played. And I think I know by who. But I need time to prove it. This is another manipulation. It's the truth. Check the source code logs. Look at who had access to the trial parameters. There's a name you'll recognize. Whose? But he'd already hung up. She stared at her cracked phone screen, mind racing. Every instinct screamed not to trust him. But something in his voice had sounded broken. Real. She pulled up her laptop, fingers flying over the keys. If he was lying, she'd find proof. If he was telling the truth, then someone else was playing a much bigger game. The code loaded. She followed the trail. Admin access logs. Date stamps. Authorization chains. And there, buried in the metadata, a name that made her stomach drop. Marcus Chen. Her estranged older brother. The one who'd sided with her parents when she dropped out. Who'd called her a disgrace. Who worked in tech security and had always been jealous of her passion, her conviction. Her brother had destroyed Jenna. Had used her as bait. Had wanted to prove that Maya's idealism would lead to pain. And Kai had figured it out. Her phone rang. Marcus's name on the screen. She answered, voice shaking with rage. Why? You needed to learn, Marcus said coldly. That your bleeding heart would only lead to casualties. That people like Zhang would use you. That the real world doesn't care about your morals. You destroyed Jenna to teach me a lesson. I showed you reality. Zhang took the bait exactly like I knew he would. And now you see what he is. What they all are. You're welcome. You're a monster. I'm a realist. And one day, you'll thank me. He hung up. Maya sat in the darkness of her apartment, the weight of it all crushing her. Her brother had orchestrated everything. Kai had been trying to clean up a mess he hadn't even made. And she'd accused him of being the villain. But he'd still hidden it from her. Still used the situation to get close to her. Still lied by omission. There were no heroes in this story. Just different shades of wrong. Her phone buzzed. Kai again. Did you find it? Yes. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I wanted proof before I accused your family. But I should have trusted you with the truth from the start. She closed her eyes. Where are you? My apartment. Top floor, Meridian Tower. Come over. We need to talk. Really talk. No more lies. She should have said no. Should have hung up and never looked back. But she thought about his voice when he'd said he loved her. Thought about the way he'd looked at Jenna's mom, the genuine pain in his eyes. Thought about how her brother had played them both like pieces on a board. I'll be there in 20 minutes. But Kai? Yeah. If you lie to me one more time, we're done. Forever. I know. She grabbed her keys, her cracked phone, and walked out into the night. The city was quiet at this hour. Peaceful. Like it didn't know that somewhere, two broken people were about to have a conversation that would change everything. At his apartment, Kai stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, watching the city lights blur through his exhausted eyes. On his desk, a resignation letter to his own board. A plan to restructure the company. A choice between his empire and his integrity. He'd built Neuralink on a lie. Grown it into something that hurt people. And no amount of money or success could change that. But maybe, just maybe, he could tear it down and build something better. Even if it meant losing everything. Even if it meant losing her. The elevator dinged. She stepped out, wearing that same leather jacket and the same defiant look in her eyes. But underneath it, he could see the cracks. The pain he'd caused. "I'm sorry," he said before she could speak. "For all of it. The manipulation. The lies. For not seeing the game until it was too late." She walked toward him slowly. "My brother destroyed Jenna to prove I was naive. You used her pain to get to me. And I trusted you both." She stopped inches away. "How do I forgive any of this?" "You don't." He met her eyes. "You walk away. You expose everything. You burn it all down. And I'll help you do it." She stared at him. "What?" "I'm done running. Done hiding." He handed her a flash drive. "Everything. The trial run. The cover-up. My emails. Your brother's involvement. All of it. Take it. Go to the press. Tell the truth. This will destroy Neuralink. Destroy you. I know." His voice was steady. "But it's the only way to make this right. The only way to be the person you made me want to be." Her eyes filled with tears. "You're serious?" "I'm in love with you, Maya. And I'd rather lose everything else than lose the chance to be someone worthy of that. Even if you never forgive me. Even if this is goodbye." She looked at the flash drive in her hand. At him. At the city sprawling below them. And then she made a choice that would change both their lives forever. Maya stared at the flash drive in her palm. All the evidence. All the truth. Years of investigative journalists would kill for this kind of access. She could end him with this. End Neuralink. Vindicate Jenna. Prove to her brother that she wasn't naive, that she could fight and win. But she'd also end any chance of real change. Any chance of Kai becoming the man he claimed he wanted to be. And maybe, any chance of them. "If I do this," she said slowly, "Jenna never gets her justice. Your company shuts down. The people working to fix it lose their jobs. And my brother wins because he'll have proof that everyone is just as corrupt as he thinks." Kai's jaw tightened. "Then don't do it for them. Do it because it's right." What if right isn't that simple? She walked to the window, pressing her forehead against the cool glass. The city stretched endlessly below. Millions of lives. Millions of stories. All of them complicated. "What if we built something better?" she whispered. He moved behind her, close but not touching. "What do you mean?" "Your brother died because the system failed him. Jenna almost died for the same reason. My brother became a monster because he stopped believing people could be good." She turned to face him. "What if instead of burning it all down, we actually fixed it? For real this time?" "Maya, I can't ask you to do that." "You're not asking. I'm choosing." She held up the flash drive. "But on my terms. Not yours. Not Neuralink's. Mine." His eyes searched her face. "Tell me. You step down as CEO. Publicly. You hand control to a board that includes people like Jenna. People who've been hurt by the system. You open source the algorithm. Every line of code. Every decision. Transparent. Accountable. That'll tank our valuation by 90%. I don't care about your valuation. I care about making sure this never happens again. And us?" His voice was barely a whisper. "Where do we fit in this?" She stepped closer, so close she could feel the heat of him. "That depends. Can you look me in the eye and tell me that everything after that first manipulation was real? That you actually see me? Not as optics or a redemption arc, but as Maya. Messy, angry, complicated Maya. I see you." His hand came up, cradling her face. I see someone who fights for people who can't fight for themselves. Who storms into boardrooms and demands better. Who makes me want to be worthy of the way she looks at the world. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. I see the woman I'm completely, terrifyingly in love with. And I'm sorry it took almost losing you to realize it. This doesn't fix everything. I know. I might never fully trust you. I'll spend every day earning it back. And if I walk away? His eyes glistened. Then I'll still do everything you asked. Because you're right. And I want to be better. Even if better means being without you. She looked at him then, really looked. At the exhaustion in his face. The fear. The desperate hope. He meant it. Every word. Maya Chen had spent her whole life fighting against systems. Against men who thought money bought truth. Against a world that valued profit over people. But maybe, just maybe, some people could change. Some stories could have complicated, imperfect endings that were still worth fighting for. She kissed him. It wasn't soft or romantic. It was hard and desperate and full of everything they'd been through. His hands tangled in her hair. Hers gripped his shirt. They broke apart, breathing hard. This is insane, she gasped. Completely. He rested his forehead against hers. But I'm done making the safe choice. Then let's burn it down and build it better. They worked through the night. Her on his laptop, him on his phone, both of them building the announcement that would change everything. By dawn, they had a plan. Kai would resign. Effective immediately. He'd transfer controlling interest to a new board led by people impacted by algorithmic bias. Jenna would be offered a seat. The company would restructure as a public benefit corporation. Profits second to people. And Maya would be there. Not as his girlfriend. Not as his redemption. But as the chief ethics officer, making sure every decision put humans first. It would be messy. Complicated. There would be lawsuits from investors. Battles with her brother. Moments where they'd question every choice. But it would be real. At 8 a.m., Kai posted the announcement. By 9, the internet had exploded. By 10, news trucks were outside the building. By noon, the board was threatening legal action. Kai didn't flinch. He held a press conference in the lobby. Maya stood beside him, not behind. Equal. I built Neuralink because I wanted to help people, Kai said, his voice steady despite the chaos. Instead, I built something that hurt them. That's on me. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making it right. Not with PR. Not with money. With actual, structural change. A reporter shouted, "What about the trial run? The leaked documents?" Kai glanced at Maya. She nodded. "They're real," he said. "All of it. We tested an algorithm on real people without proper oversight. It destroyed lives. Including the life of Jenna Park, who's here today because of Maya Chen's advocacy. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to do better. And I'm handing the tools to make that happen to the people who deserve them most." "And your relationship with Ms. Chen," another reporter pressed. "Some are calling it calculated." Maya stepped forward, voice clear. "I'm not here because Kai Zhang manipulated me. I'm here because I choose to believe people can change. That systems can be rebuilt. That maybe, just maybe, we can create tech that actually serves humanity instead of exploiting it." She looked at Kai. "And if he fails, I'll be the first one to burn it all down." Again. The crowd erupted with questions. But they walked away together, hand in hand, leaving the chaos behind. Outside, Jenna waited by Maya's car, looking stronger than she had in months. "You're crazy," she said, but she was smiling. Maybe, Maya admitted. But I'm done letting fear make my decisions. Good. Jenna pulled her into a hug. Because I'm taking that board seat. Someone needs to keep you both honest. Thank you, Kai said quietly. For the second chance. I won't waste it. You better not. Jenna's eyes went hard. Because if you hurt her again, I know exactly which algorithm to hack to destroy you. He laughed, surprised and genuine. Deal. They parted ways. Kai and Maya stood alone in the parking lot as the sun climbed higher, burning off the morning fog. What now? He asked. Now we do the work. Build something that actually matters. Fight with the board. Probably fight with each other. And figure out if we can be together in a way that's real and healthy and not built on trauma and manipulation. That's terrifying. Yeah. She laced her fingers through his. But I'd rather be terrified and trying than safe and settling. He pulled her close, pressing a kiss to her forehead. I love you. Messy, angry, incredible you. I don't love you yet, she said honestly. But I think I could. If you keep showing up. Keep being honest. Keep fighting to be better. I can do that. Then let's find out. They got in his car, driving toward a future that was uncertain and complicated and absolutely nothing like either of them had planned. But for the first time in both their lives, it felt right. At Meridian Tower, Neuralink servers hummed with activity. The open-source code was already being downloaded by thousands of developers. Some would find flaws. Some would improve it. All of them would make it better. In a hospital room across town, Jenna read the news on her phone, tears streaming down her face. Not from pain this time. From something that felt dangerously close to hope. And in a tech office downtown, Marcus Chen watched his carefully constructed game fall apart, realizing too late that he'd underestimated the one thing he'd never understood. The power of two people choosing to change. Together. 6 months later, Maya stood on stage at a tech ethics conference, sharing Neuralink's story. Not as a fairy tale. Not as a redemption arc. But as a case study in how systems fail and how people can choose to rebuild them. Kai sat in the front row, watching her command the room. Watching her inspire hundreds of people to demand better from their companies, their algorithms, their world. After, they walked along the waterfront. The city lights reflected on the dark water. They'd fought. Made up. Fought again. We're learning that love wasn't the absence of conflict but the choice to work through it. Jenna asked me to move in with her, Maya said. She's getting her own place. Wants a roommate. What did you say? That I needed to think about it. She glanced at him. What do you want me to say? I want you to choose what's best for you. Not for me. Not for us. For Maya Chen, the woman who fights for everyone else but sometimes forgets to fight for herself. She stopped walking, turning to face him. What if what's best for me is figuring out how to be with you without losing myself? What if I want to try the terrifying thing? He smiled, soft and real. Then I guess we both keep being brave. Together? Together. They kissed under the city lights, two people who'd found each other in the wreckage and decided to build something better. Not perfect. Not easy. But real. And sometimes, real was the most revolutionary thing of all. Behind them, the city hummed with life. Somewhere, Jenna was laughing with her new therapist. Somewhere, Marcus was learning that manipulation couldn't win against genuine change. Somewhere, thousands of people were using Neuralink's open-source code to build systems that saw humans as more than data. The future was uncertain. But it was theirs. And they were going to fight like hell to make it better. One choice. One person. One day at a time. The end.